Hi, I'm Anne from Darcy Do Podcasts in the Huon Valley of Tasmania. I am speaking today to Robert Walker, the grandson of the Hobart architect Alan Walker. Hi Robert, can you take us back to 1923 when the Hobart Domain and Cenotaph was designed?
Hi Ann, thanks for having me on your show today. Working for Hutchins and Walker Architects in 1923, the firm won a design competition for the federal and state government-funded design of a cenotaph war memorial that would be used to remember servicemen who had lost their lives during World War I. The use of the memorial was to be extended after World War II to be a place of remembrance for all the wars that Tasmanians have participated and served in. Prior to awarding the contract of the building of the cenotaph, the Tasmanian government passed legislation through Parliament the requirement to include and integrate social housing into all future government-funded urban infrastructure projects. This would ensure that infrastructure and building materials are dual-purposed and the spending of Tasmanian taxpayer money is turned over multiple times to ensure good value for money.
Could you give our listeners some detail on the design brief, which I believe was to include the urban planning of the Queen's Domain area where the cenotaph was to be located and to include a future design envelope for an Australian rules football and events stadium to be located at Macquarie Point area?
As part of the design and building of the cenotaph, the agreed urban planning brief with the Tasmanian government was to design the various gardens, community recreation infrastructure and sporting facilities. Another important aspect of the design of the domain and cenotaph was to ensure that the important sidelines of Macquarie Street through Hobart, the Derwent River and Mount Wellington would be maintained. This included the design of an envelope of the future AFL Sport and Event Stadium together with complying with the legislated inclusion and integration of social housing as part of the stadium itself.
Wow, it is incredible to learn that the Tasmanian government and the urban design architects had the innovation and foresight to design the Hobart Domain area that has well served Tasmania the way that it has over a century now. Could you now take us to 2022 and talk about Tasmania receiving an AFL license to establish their own Tasmanian football team?
The Tasmanian Premier in 2023, after years of negotiating with the AFL, received conditional approval for Tasmania to join the AFL at the beginning of the 2027 season. After consulting with Tasmanians, the Tasmanian government, together with the new Tasmania AFL board, announced that the Tasmanian AFL team would be named the Tasmanian Devils. The condition for joining the AFL was that Tasmania would use AFL, federal and state government funding to build a new AFL sport and event stadium within the envisaged design envelope at Macquarie Point. The detailed design and construction of the stadium with integrated social housing commenced in 2024.
Next week on Friday, April 1st, 2027, Tasmania will be celebrating the opening ceremony of the brand new Macquarie Point Stadium with its integrated social housing, which will be awarded to the tenants of successful applicants by the end of June this year. Robert, with the history of what has happened leading up to this amazing opening ceremony and you having such a personal connection to the design, could you share with our listeners what it means to you?
This is a world-leading example of how a sustainable and environmentally friendly development has been designed to support the values of efficient spending that is inclusive of the Tasmanian community and ensures that everyone is socially supported and has the right to a safe and suitable home as well as having the means to support their families.
Thank you for your time and sharing your story with us, Robert. We are excited to see the Tassie Devils in action at their new Tasmanian Stadium on opening night.
Thanks for having me on your podcast, Anne. It is much appreciated.